Today, oh gosh, I don't even know how to put today's energy into words. Okay, we get those brief moments of clarity and flashes of understanding. And something shifts within us, whether we are aware of it or not. We start to see where we've been holding too tightly, or we have been compromising, giving our power away, living smaller to keep the peace, to following old promises that no longer fit who we are becoming. So today kind of brings in a very quiet, very subtle awakening to us. And it'll be one that helps us to reconnect with our truth, our freedom, our power, and the way we show up for the promises that we've made. Join me as we gain understanding of how to, embrace this energy. So by the end of our time together, it's my hope, it's my intention that you now have more wisdom, insight, clarity, so that you can walk forward with a sense of confidence, clarity, and love. So hi, I'm Tilly. This is Tarot with Tilly. Thank you for being here. Thank you for all the positive, loving support you send me each and every day. Welcome to your daily focus, October the 9th, 2025. So the nine energy is about completions and endings, clearing up the old. I would have to say that a lot of it would be geared to our old stories. And maybe we're still walking them, not even realizing that we are recycling. This is a time to recycle. This is a time to make space. This is a time to make space for the new things that you want to bring into your world. The things that you want to embrace, make tangible, make real, needs room to come into your life. So what is the old that you are hanging on to that needs to go so that there is room for, I hear, spacious new ideas? So maybe it's a mind clutter more than it is an actual clutter in our life. If we look at the daily numerology, we have a 1 plus a 9 plus a 9, and that gives us a 19 energy. The 19 energy is us, ourselves. To see our accomplishments, our growth, who we've become. 1 plus 9 is a 10 energy. uh, I took some medication. I climbed into bed, but because oh my gosh, I just woke up so full. Oh my gosh, I felt like my face was out here somewhere, and my eyes have been watering, and the nose has been trying to run away on me. And what would I look like without a nose? So, anyways, I medicated myself, went back to bed because I was in the office early thinking I was going to get this out in plenty of time today. Nothing will stop me today. And then, trying to get rid of the groggy. But as I get rid of the groggy, this cough is trying to set in. Now, of course, I will defeat it. But bear with me here if I have to cough a little bit because this is new. So anyways, where were we? The 10 energy? I think so. The 10 energy is about the seasons changing, the growth, the cycle of life, the wheel of life, always turning for us and moving us into new experiences, transforming us a little bit each and every day, with or without our consent. 1 plus 0 is a 1, and that is the I am, that is the independent, that is the trailblazer. That is knowing that the possibilities are endless, that you are capable of so much more than maybe what others think of you, and you're out to prove yourself, to stand tall in who you are and show them who you've become, what you've become, and where you're going. Okay, Sun is in Libra, Moon is in Taurus. And today, Juno sextiles Uranus. Okay, I got really tied up in Juno because Juno is the promise. The promises we make to ourselves, to our dreams, to our hopes, our desires, to friends, to families, to lovers, to... We make promises all the time. And Juno is kind of like, okay, we're going to make you keep that promise. How are you doing that? How are you working towards that? Okay, so today Juno is sextiling Uranus. Okay, expect the unexpected. So we're standing in this energy that kind of blends, I don't know, truth and curiosity and growth. Okay, Juno in Sagittarius. Okay, it's the promises we make to others, our dreams, ourselves. And Juno's not very satisfied with the promises that may feel stagnant or one-sided. You know, did we promise to stay quiet when we should have used our voice? Did we promise to sit still when we knew we should have acted? But this isn't a negative energy. This is one of growth. This is one of bringing in wisdom. Okay, we have a sextile happening. So it's not something we have to do, but we are encouraged to look at these things on a day like today. And when we do it on a day like today, when the energy is so strong, asking us, bending over to hear us, this is the time when we can look at what we can evolve in our life. Maybe our partnerships, our friendships, our purposes, our dreams. Okay, that we grow and therefore they all grow around us, kind of thing. Now across the sky we got Uranus, okay, and Uranus is in retrograde at like 0 degrees of Gemini. We'll be there for, I think, several more weeks before it slips back in to finish up some loose ends in Taurus. But right now it's at 0 degrees, and we all know how potent. I mean, if you watched me through February, March, and April when I talked about that 0 degrees, that, you know, that 29th degree, that 0 degrees, how potent it is. And so there Uranus sits, okay? And it's in retrograde. And it's in Gemini. So Gemini is our mind and our words, our conversations, our curiosity. And, you know, it should be awakening a voice within each and every one of us, one that questions or imagines or dares to ask, what if? And so Uranus may bring things into the picture today. Maybe it's a thought that pops up. Maybe somebody says something. Maybe we're having a conversation and we word it differently than we usually do. And all of a sudden it opens up this gateway or builds this bridge that we never had before. You know, this is a time to infuse those relationships that have kind of lost their spark. You know, it's how we communicate and how we interpret what connection really means to us. And so now Juno and Uranus are working together in the sky, and they're inviting us to explore love and truth and self-expression. Okay, in a way that feels fresh or new, alive, freeing. To break away from an outdated expectation. And how do we realize those expectations? Through awareness. I think, if anything else, these two coming together in this way brings in awareness for us to say this needs to change. Okay, you know, what if I could keep my promises and still give myself permission to grow? What if I don't have to remain small? Where have I given away my power? And we're not going in and demanding it back, but we are going to just open the conversation in a new way. And just, it's back. We say the things that we've kept quiet on in a very gentle and loving way. Okay, this energy isn't one for bickering and clashes. It's one for opening up the conversation and growing from that conversation. And no, it won't be overnight. It won't all happen in a day. We'd like it to, but this will take time, right? I mean, Juno is in Sagittarius until, well, going into next year. I'm pretty sure going into next year. And Uranus has been in Gemini for a very short time, going back to Uranus to finish things up, and then in 2026 we'll go back into. And the two together, I mean, they form this bridge between the heart and the mind. You know, Sagittarius, we crave purpose in our commitments. We want dreams that stretch us, adventures and opportunities and learning experiences and new relationships to come in to teach us wisdom. Okay, so there's definitely, with Juno being there, a sense of we're ready for more. And that is just starting to awaken in us, okay? It will grow stronger because Juno has just gone into Sagittarius. I think it's sitting at like 2 degrees or something. Okay, and it's not about having more on your plate. It's about just being more authentic. It's about your authenticity. And Uranus is here to shake loose, okay? Any kind of old patterns, like thought patterns or old stories, or a situation will come up where we've been kind of recycling our energy in this relationship. We say certain things, they say certain things, we nod, we shake our hands, we walk away from them until we have to meet again. And this is about, the chain flying off the bike, and now the bike. We need a new chain. Don't try and fix, well, we also are trying to fix that chain, to find the broken link. Okay? Uranus is going to want us to express what we truly feel. The words we've been afraid to say, or perhaps we didn't even know how to say it. Those words begin to form. So we could have surprising conversations today, definitely flashes of insight, a definite shift in how we see a situation, especially a situation where we felt stuck. Okay? With the one energy of today, it awakens our inner explorer, the part of us that is not afraid. And to reimagine the Gemini energy, asking us to reimagine what love and partnership and purpose can become when we stop doing things the old way. So this is the time to talk, but to really talk from the heart about what we need from each other to grow together. Definitely with Uranus, this energy will favor any kind of fresh approaches, to be open to collaborate, to find new methods. An unexpected opportunity could arise on a day like today, probably several small ones. If I'm being honest, I don't think it's like a giant opportunity, although it could be something that turns out giant down the road. I don't see this as a fast-moving energy for us. I think we are going to be sitting with this promise in and out of October, November, December, and some of January. So follow your curiosity. Yeah, because I think, as we look for that long-term wisdom, it could be very well disguised as a short-term experiment. So don't rule out anything. We're being reminded to honor our promises we made to ourselves, and to give ourselves the permission to upgrade. The new version, okay? Who you are 2.0. That vow you made to yourself maybe several years ago, several weeks ago. We are evolving all the time, and our perceptions change, and how we do things needs to go with the same flow. And so we gain wisdom, and therefore we always have to look back. Okay? And don't beat yourself up, okay? That version of who you were when you made that promise to yourself was doing the very best thing for you at that time in that place. So give yourself permission to rewrite your story. And it could be, you got that steady job or that steady relationship, that friendship, or maybe a routine, a job. And it works. On paper, it works, right? But you feel something stirring. You feel like a new idea. A new idea comes in and it excites you. Or you have this conversation and it just radically changed your perception. And you're not really unhappy, but you could be waking up to the fact that you've outgrown this old version of your dream. And this energy isn't saying walk away, it's saying walk forward. To bring the lessons, the love, the loyalty, but to let curiosity lead you into what's next. Okay, this energy really is a breath of fresh air. Because you have been walking a chapter of repetition. It's reminding us that commitment and curiosity can exist in the same plane, that love, purpose, self-trust grows stronger the more we allow them to evolve within us. So we're not being asked to choose between security and freedom. We're being asked to find the version of both that blend and feels true to our soul. Okay, let's go to the cards. Who do we have there? Oh, look at that. Four of Cups. It all starts with gratitude. Maybe we're overlooking a relationship, right? They ask us if anything's the matter, and we've just had this hour and a half conversation with ourselves, and we go, nothing. You go back doing what you're doing, they go back doing what they're doing. It could be the silence that needs to be broken and just saying aloud. This was going through my mind. And get curious about their dreams. Oh, who tried to turn over here? The Five of Pentacles. Yeah, we can feel beaten up. And I think we need to look at where we feel beaten up the most in our life, because that's probably the area of development that we need to look at. This is about standing up straight. This is about you being on the very threshold of the door of abundance. What's behind that door? Are you saying no to things? Are you doing things out of repetition because it's just easier and you know the response you'll get? Is it time to put some fire into your words, your thoughts, I want to say actions, but I don't think actions is really a word today. Action of the mind, the mental action, yes. Okay, I'll put that back in. Oh, it was the bottom card, wasn't it? Oh, well. Okay, we'll start over then. Oh, no, I was just going to shuffle, and that was the card. Oh, my gosh. Hello? My goodness, I'm not awake here. I think I'm feeling okay, but I gotta kick this to the curb. I've got way too much to do. So, and it's gonna all get done. Okay, we got the Page of Wands as our underlying energy. Page of Wands is about dreaming. Okay, allow yourself to dream a little bit outside of the comfort zone. Maybe you have that go-to dream. Okay, well, how about we expand on it a little bit, or give it a twist? Or what if it doesn't happen in that way, but you get the same end result? And how could that happen? Start asking your dreams some questions to get some more, to solidify it, is what I'm hearing. To solidify it in your mind. To know that when you walk into that penthouse on the top floor and you open the door, you're greeted somehow with this beautiful vase of flowers with this beautiful frosted mirror behind of it, reflecting it almost in a romantic haze around the flowers. And there's a solid emerald green carpeting that goes right down the middle, so I'd like a walkway with a beautiful carpet leading towards that kitchen that's all done in pristine white, and into the living room that feels so cozy with the fireplace and the fire's crackling away, and uh, I don't know, the kids or the grandkids or you are huddled around the fire with on blankets and drinking hot cocoa with marshmallows in it. Like give it solidify. Okay, see, and so I was just talking about, maybe your home, but maybe it's your career, and maybe you need to just put a little bit more added your flesh into it, like to bring it alive, to really make it something that is tangible in your mind, real in your mind, that it's already somewhere, because it's almost like you're looking at something that you recognize now rather than something new that you are creating. Does that make sense to you? We have the Queen of Wands. Queen of Wands, judge and jury. Boy, she asks questions. But you know what? She's not one to look behind her, like over her shoulder after, and say, did I make the right decision there? Because you will make the right decisions, because you are asking the questions. The questions that lead to the answers, that bring in the clarity, that erases the fog, evaporates the fog. And you don't sit too long in this position as this queen. Once you have an idea, a sense of clarity, you act on that little bit of clarity that you have. And you get excited and optimistic about it. You see how it can work to your advantage. You see how it can be put together. You see how you can bring it to life. Make it real, make it tangible. And your excitement will entice others to want to help you, to get to that goal, that dream, that desire, that way of life, that way of being. We have the Death card. So it's time to trust a little bit, I guess. We need to take off that cloak that has been protecting us. We need to lay down that weapon. We felt so secure with that weapon in our hand, but it's not doing anything except keeping away what we truly want to step into. That sword. We need to be seen, to take the risk of being seen, of being heard, to allow our inner child to come out and play, to feel the elevated path opening up to you, is what I heard. So we'll go with that. I'm going to get a little sip. And we have the Three of Cups. Fun, celebration. Okay, celebrate you. We had the monkeys out not too recently. Okay, the monkeys haven't been out in a while, so I'm still cherishing that they came out to say, remember the fun we're supposed to have. This is a beautiful energy. But it might not feel so beautiful as we walk through the steps. But to grow our wisdom and our strength. I mean, celebrate these little things. You may receive good news on a day like today. It's about getting together with other people. It's about socializing. It's about growing those relationships deeper and stronger. Okay, the ancient stones. I have a big bowl of soup waiting for me. I feel in my throat. Huh. Okay, what's our card? Boundary stones. Negotiation, contracts, and communication. It is about our boundaries, right? Where have we said, oh, whatever, we'll do it your way? Just because you just didn't want to, like, oh my gosh, you're not going to give in. For whatever, we'll do it your way. And then, you waste like however many seconds to days to years and then say, see, it didn't work, so can we try it my way now? Like, instead of just using your voice and bringing maybe more evidence in, maybe you needed to hit the books and learn something, so you can go back and say, look at this, I've learned this, and we are doing it like this, so we need to whatever. Okay, the boundaries. I'm the boundary stones. Okay, there's nothing more physical and permanent than the stone. Stones can define a space clearly. They separate and set the mark, blocking out trespassers. Clear communicators, stones leave little up in the air to question. Sometimes we can feel nervous about setting firm boundaries, but creating this type of clear limit or rule makes all parties feel safer and prevents anxiety, questioning, worry. The boundary stones card is one of clear communication, which is something that we're being asked to do today. Absolutely. It invites us to see the importance of defining what we want and what we truly mean. Yeah, exactly. Whether it's being courageous and frank in your personal relationships or bringing more clarity and transparency to your professional agreements, this card invites you to be fair and clear to what you intend to communicate and manifest is done so impeccably. Perhaps the card is prompting you to take time to clarify what's important to you, to voice what you truly want. Maybe you're being called to work out the specifics of a business agreement or a contract that will bring you what you intend to create. Or maybe there's an important discussion to be had in a relationship where you're being called to express your feelings or needs and let the other person do the same. Some people can misinterpret clear communication and boundary settings as harsh or unloving behavior. However, it can in fact be the container of safety for when both parties understand the terrain. They know each other, where they stand, and where they can relax and trust the container even more. So what important discussion is being called? What important discussion are you being called to have? How can you be clearer about it? So, yeah. So what they said. I mean, really, that card really summed it up. Just be honest, be truthful, in a loving, caring, compassionate way. Where you said it was all right, it's just not all right anymore, and that's okay. Our stories can change. Our stories will change. It's whether or not we're holding the pen. Okay, and look at this. We have the deer for giggles. So yeah, I got that as soon as I got the three of cups there. It was like, yeah, we got to remember to have fun. We need to giggle. We need to laugh. This is very uplifting energy. Giggle, laugh, smile, comedy, fun, and play. Live and work, but do not forget to play. To have fun in life and really enjoy it. And Deer tells you to giggle. He feels that your laughter has been stifled by life's difficulties and pain. Smiling is the start, and oftentimes giggles follows. Giggling is something we notice with young children. It's part of their natural existence. We tend to lose it. My apologies. Lose our silliness and amusement in life because of the burden of pain. But by being childlike and giggling, there is a release of stress. An essential part of your daily life should include smiles, laughter, humor, giggles. Read, tell a joke, turn on a comedy, Before you know it, the giggles will become natural to you. Don't worry about the judgment from others. Create a playful environment at work and home, but know that you cannot make someone be motivated. That comes from within each individual person. Just plant the seed, water it daily, and remember to fertilize and watch the blooms that appear. Spend more time with those who made you smile and laugh, and less with those who make you sad. Surrounding yourself with happy people creates a happy life, and the world can be changed. Your world can be changed. And it's as simple as smiling at someone who looks sad, waving in a car that is having a difficult time turning, offering a hug to someone who's having a bad day, making small talk with a cashier who looks depressed. And we may call that pay it forward or a random act of kindness, but some call it a normal part of their day. And what happens with each of these acts is we create a ripple effect that raises the vibration of the universe, and it starts with you. And I guess this was here to remind us about yesterday's reading. It was here to remember to make that ripple. Yesterday we called it the domino effect, right? You do something nice and it spirals. The ripple effect. You do something nice and you create the ripples. And it affects everybody around you. Scientists have actually, studied it, and they say that if somebody does something nice for you, it will stay with you for the next 2 to 3 hours usually. But if you do something nice for somebody else, it stays for literally days. Okay, and it can be recalled years later sometimes. It's like a well of happiness that we make for ourselves. So that we can feel optimistic, so that we can feel strong, so that we can feel courageous, so that we can know that we are blessed, that we are enough. And until we meet again, remember, I do love you.